There are a few things in our society today that for years have annoyed me to no end. So when given an opportunity to give a speech about things that should change, I made a long list of things to talk about. Then I cut out some things like homophones and the measurement system because otherwise it would take too long. So let's talk about clocks and calendar issues. The first of these being the second month. February has 28 days. But why? It's literally surrounded by months that have 31 days. I understand that leap year adds a day, but that still leaves us short a day at 29. And also, there's an old rhyme to help you remember how many days are in each month, but it's hard for me to remember, so I had to look it up. I found a website that has over 90 versions, so I picked version 14. 30 days in November with April, June, and September. Of 28, there is one. All the rest have 31. Thank you. So here's my first proposition. We take a day away from August, give it to February, and shift the months with 31 days up one. The knuckle rule is all well and good, but an AB-AB pattern is so much easier to remember. It would end up looking like this, except on leap year, which would give February 30 days like all the rest of his friends. Up next is daylight savings time. It's practically pointless. If there was no DST, there would be earlier sunsets that help you go to sleep and earlier sunrises that help you wake up, ultimately helping you get a better sleep schedule. There is actual evidence for this. The Atlantic said many people feel the effects of the spring forward for longer than a day. A study showed that Americans lose around 40 minutes of sleep on the Sunday night after the shift. This means more than just additional yawns on Monday. The resulting loss in productivity cost the economy an estimated $434 million a year. But my favorite quote about this problem is attributed to an old Native American, and he sums it up rather nicely. Only the government would believe that you could cut a foot off the top of a blanket, sew it to the bottom, and have a longer blanket. Third is the Central Eastern Time Zone border in Tennessee. If you look at a map of time zone borders, you'll notice that the line that divides Central Time and Eastern Time goes pretty far east before cutting through our wonderful state of Tennessee. This only makes the aforementioned DST problem more severe. If I had my way, at 12 o'clock, it would still be 12, but it would always be that time, even in winter. I can imagine a chilly winter day where I get off the bus and the sun is still above the horizon. I can imagine not losing sleep for days in a row because we changed the time I'm supposed to wake up. I can imagine being able to say, the sky's awake, so I'm awake, so we have to play, and actually be telling the truth. The final thing I want to talk about isn't about clocks and calendars. Unless you count the first letter, the useless letter C. Life would be so much easier if we spelled cat as cat, or cycle as cycle, and clocks and calendars as clocks and calendars. And that's only one example. The English alphabet is the most confusing one I have ever seen. You could completely get rid of C, X, and Q and still be able to say pretty much anything. I mean, come on. Xylophone is spelled so weird. We could spell it xylophone. The only thing we would need the C for is the words with the CH sound, which we could easily find a way to deal with. We could even make C only be the CH sound. Double consonants are also pointless. Mark Twain even proposed a 15 to 20 year plan to slowly change the alphabet and spelling of words in his paper, A Plan for the Improvement of Spelling in the English Language, saying, by year 15 or so, it would finally be possible to make use of the redundant letters C, Y, and X, by now just a memory in the minds of old daughters. I think he had the right idea. Thank you.
Let's go!